Why the heck would any hearing healthcare provider hate Dr. Cliff Olson, AUD? Welcome back to You Heard It Here with Dr. Gary. I'm Gary, clinical audiologist and one of the owners of Advanced Hearing Group in Scottsdale, Arizona. Today, I'm going to do a reaction video to a video posted by Dr. Cliff Olson. Now, for those of you who don't know Dr. Cliff, I strongly recommend that you go take a look at his videos, especially if you're interested in being a more educated consumer within the hearing healthcare industry. He does some really good reviews. In fact, I'm going to put a link in the description below for one of his videos, the review of the Sony CRE C10 OTC self-fit hearing aids. Yeah, I know that's a mouthful. We actually did a review video on this channel. I looked at my review video and his. We came to a lot of the same conclusions. I was actually really impressed with his because he even thought to go a couple of steps further and really bring some additional information in that I really wish we had brought into ours. So what we're going to do today is we're going to react to the 4 reasons that he says hearing healthcare providers hate Dr. Cliff. Now, I'm not saying that I hate Dr. Cliff. And I understand that the majority of the hearing healthcare providers actually love what he's doing. He's taking the time to educate people and doing it in a way that most of us have never gotten into. In fact, if you told me 6 years ago that I was going to be doing YouTube videos, I would have laughed you out of my office. Now, fast forward 6 years later, and I'm putting this content out there and actually doing a reaction video to somebody else's. So, without any further ado, let's let Dr. Cliff tell you the first reason hearing healthcare providers hate Dr. Cliff Olson.
And the first reason is that I'm too young and inexperienced to be educating you about hearing loss.
The first reason given by Dr. Cliff that some providers hate him is actually his age and lack of experience, and how that age and lack of experience means he shouldn't be educating you about hearing healthcare. Now, on the surface, this sounds like a really stupid reason. From experience, it's real. When I was a young audiologist, I was out of school 2 or 3 years, I would be at conferences and I would talk to people who's been in this profession for a long time. Sometimes 20, 30, 40 years of experience. And I would tell them what we're doing and what the research was showing for best practices and trying to explain why we do different things. You'd have some providers who were really into it, wanted to learn, wanted to bring the best care to their patients. And then you'd have that other group who would basically look at me and say, when you have more experience, you'll understand why that doesn't work. No, I'm not going to make changes. So yeah, age is definitely something that Dr. Cliff runs into as to why some providers don't like him. But I don't think it's age. I think it's the fact that at such a young age, he's having such monumental success. Not only with his clinic in Phoenix, Arizona, but also with his YouTube channel. And the fact that he's taking this information that he's learned throughout the years and passing it on to the public, trying to make them more informed consumers. So as far as his age goes, yes, I can see why some providers dislike him because he's so successful at such a young age. Definitely not warranted, but it is a possibility as to reasons why providers may not like Dr. Cliff. So let's take a look at the second reason he gives for why providers hate Dr. Cliff.
The second reason why some hearing care providers do not like Dr. Cliff AUD is that they do not want you to be an informed consumer. Years ago, before the internet, it was easy to take advantage of individuals with a hearing loss because there was no way for you to know if what you were being told by your hearing care provider was actually true or not.
The second reason he gives for hearing healthcare providers not liking Dr. Cliff is that he wants you to be informed. He wants an informed consumer. Okay, I don't understand this one. Personally, as a hearing healthcare provider, I value informed consumers. But I also know that my clinics follow best practice. So if I'm doing what I should be doing to diagnose a patient and to treat them in a way that's going to be the most effective for them, I disagree. I want an informed consumer. But I can understand why somebody who is into the old turn and burn, sell as many hearing aids as you can. The old joke, which used to be, if a hearing aid's whistling and the patient can't hear it, is it really whistling? Those types of things, anybody who follows that model would absolutely hate the fact that Dr. Cliff is making it easy for possible consumers to get educated and to learn what questions they should be asking, and to make sure that you as a hearing healthcare provider are actually giving the services that you should be giving. Again, it's a valid reason that somebody who is trying to do something shady or, kind of as little as possible, just trying to do the quick turn and burn, get a quick sale and be done. Yeah, that type of a provider, absolutely going to hate Dr. Cliff because he is educating the public as to what to expect and giving honest reviews. Let's talk about the third reason that people hate Dr. Cliff Olson.
The third reason why hearing care providers hate Dr. Cliff AUD is that they think I'm in this for the money. Now, I'm not going to lie, I make a good living for myself and for my family, but that is not the reason that I do what I do.
The third reason that Dr. Cliff says that some providers don't like him is because he's only in it for the money. Well, okay, so he actually says that the perception is that he's only in it for the money. And yes, he makes a good living. He's got the education. He's running a successful clinic. He's definitely making money, and that's great. Honestly, I don't think that any hearing healthcare provider begrudges you any money you're making from your clinic. I really think they're jealous that you're making money from YouTube as well as your clinic. In the hearing healthcare industry, we tend to stay in this profession for a long time. I actually know personally several hearing healthcare providers who are in their 70s and 80s. People love the profession and stay in it. Sometimes they don't like to see things change. Dr. Cliff, keep those YouTube videos coming. In fact, I'm going to encourage you, turn on those ads. Turn on the pre-roll and the mid-roll ads. Enjoy that income for you and your family that your hard work with YouTube makes you. You're not doing it just to entertain. Yes, you're entertaining, but you're also doing a great job educating. I'm actually trying to follow in those footsteps. I want to start educating people on that scale that you are. Nowhere near where you're at now, but my goal is to get there as well. I do think that you need to understand that when people say they don't like Dr. Cliff, or people have a negative reaction to anything that you do, it's based in jealousy and the fact that they don't understand that there's more ways to generate revenue than just selling hearing aids. I'm going to take this back to my clinic for a minute, okay? What we do is we're a very insurance-based clinic. We do a lot of diagnostic work for local doctors. Because we do the diagnostic work, all of our income and revenue is not tied up just in hearing aids. Yes, hearing aids are a large part of our revenue, but we also have other streams, including diagnostics, which are really important. Some providers still don't take health care. We work with health insurance companies. That's the way I think it should be done. And there are a lot of providers, especially when I was early in my career, who absolutely hated that we would take health insurance. Even for diagnostic work, they hated it. That to me never made sense. So I don't think that providers actually dislike Dr. Cliff for anything to do with his audiology business. I think it has everything to do with his success and the positive information he's putting out on YouTube. That's the third reason that Dr. Cliff says that some providers don't like him.
And the fourth reason why hearing care providers absolutely hate Dr. Cliff AUD is that I am a firm believer in best practices. It is no secret that I believe that best practices like real ear measurement are critical for you to achieve your optimal performance with hearing aids.
That fourth reason has a lot to unpack. Let's start at the face value. If there are providers who do not like Dr. Cliff because he focuses so much on best practices, we've got some serious issues in this industry. For example, every video he talks about real ear, evidence-based practice, and patient-centered care. Those are three things that no hearing healthcare provider should be able to argue with. Real ear measurements, patient-centered care, and evidence-based practice. If you're not doing those three things and you don't believe in those three things, this is not the industry for you. I repeat, if you don't believe in real ear measurements, evidence-based practice, and patient-centered care, understand that the likelihood that you will continue to be successful in this industry is very slim. And the likelihood that you will be able to provide patients with good care is very slim. So I'm just going to say it very bluntly. If you don't believe in those things, this is not your industry. You can be a great person, but you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be in the hearing healthcare industry. Okay, so I don't even think there's many hearing healthcare providers who dislike Dr. Cliff because he focuses on best practice. I think it's more the Hearing Up Network. There's nothing wrong with the Hearing Up Network. Personally, my office, we are not part of the Hearing Up Network. We've never applied to be part of it. We've never really even looked into it. However, I do understand how some providers, if they're just looking at things briefly, how they could get the impression that Dr. Cliff says things like, only Hearing Up members are following best practice. He's never said that. He says that about 30% of hearing healthcare providers follow best practice. He says that he personally vets the members of the Hearing Up Network to make sure that they are following best practice. But he never said, if you're not part of the Hearing Up Network, you don't follow best practices. I think that's a point of confusion. So I'd like to set this straight on Dr. Cliff's behalf. You can be part of the Hearing Up Network and follow best practices, but you can also not be part of the Hearing Up Network and still follow best practices. In all of his videos, he encourages you to find a local hearing healthcare provider who follow best practices. It's really important. It is. And if only 30%, I have no idea if that number is correct, of hearing healthcare providers follow best practices, you do need to educate yourself as to what those best practices are. Dr. Cliff, please keep the videos coming. You've put yourself out there. Anytime you put yourself out there, someone is going to throw hate at you. I don't know why what you're doing is creating hearing healthcare providers animosity, unless it's jealousy. Yes, you're young. I'm not much older than you are, but I am a little bit older. Yes, you make a good living. I make a good living in what I do as well. And most hearing healthcare providers make a pretty good living at what they do. Yes, you focus on best practice and evidence-based practice. I think they all should. I don't understand why that would make people dislike you. I'm going to continue to bring information. If you like these videos, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It really helps encourage me to keep going and build this YouTube channel. I'm going to keep bringing you educational and entertaining content, wax removals, product reviews, and more facts about hearing loss. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.